Today we are going to cover the epochs of literary history and literature as a product of society. We are continuing the same topic, literature and the spirit of the age. Literature as in which is in the heading of the literature as a social product. So, where we left yesterday, yes, as there is a common racial characters in the literature production of any given people, so therefore there is common time character in the literary production of such people are given below. So a nation life has its methods and exaltations and depressions, its epochs now of strong faith and strenuous idealism, now of doubt, struggle struggle and disillusions, now of unbeliefs and flippant disregard for the sanctities and existence, and which the manner of expression will vary great with the individuality of every writer. The dominant spirit of the hour, wherever there may be, will directly or indirectly revelation itself in this work, since even man, according to Goethe, dictum is a citizen of his age as well as of his country, and since, as Renan put it, one belonged to one century and race even when one reacts against one's centuries and race. So what happened in the epochs? It is the epoch, or it is a time when the writer has the expression or existence, in which writer has to express the existence and the expression of his time, and the manner of his expression will reveal that what epoch or in what time he has written the work. Thus we speak of a period of literature, of the literature of the age of period of Augustine, of Louis, or the revolutions of Elizabeth or Anne or Victoria. We have in mind something far more important than the establishment of such chronological divisions as may be arbitrary, made for the sake of mere convenience. So such phrases rarely refer to differentiate characteristics, to those distinctive qualities of theme, treatment, manner, spirit, tone by which the literature of each period as a whole is marked, which are more or less pronounced in all the writers or that period, or by virtue of which these writers, despite the individual differences, stand together as a group in contrast with the group formed by the writer of their period. So it is the manner of expression, it is the distinctive quality of their themes and treatments and manner, spirit and tone which make the writer distinguish, and which define that how in what epoch this writer has expressed in his writing. So we have therefore to study the literature of an age, and we study the writing of each separate author or a great body of work express a common spirit under many diverse individual forms. So we may of course do this after the habit of many historians of literature, by looking no further than literature itself. Our chief object will then be to investigate the origin, growth and decay of literary fashion and taste. What is our chief interest? Our chief interest is to see the origin, growth and decay of literary fashion and taste, the formation of schools, like a school of thoughts. So different school of thoughts, how they generate different school of thought, it is the origin and growth and decay when we investigate them, and the rise and fall of critical standard and ideals, the influence of particular men in initial fresh tendencies and giving a new direction to literature, and so on, keeping meanwhile strictly to the literature phenomena themselves, and conceiving of these and explicitly by references only to such forces as lie within the life of literary activity. So of to say presently, but those who care preeminently for the life of youth, they will rather press us to examine the connection of motive forces as work outside literature in the society of the time. So if we ask, for example, why did our English writers produce and why did our English writers produce and English readers enjoy, and the end of the 16th century the Fairy Queen, at the end of the 17th century the Hind and the Panther, and the end of the 18th century the poems of Burns and Cowper? Why did the age of Shakespeare find its main artistic outlet in the drama, and what were the cause of decline of the drama and the rise of the modern form of prose fiction? This is all covered up when we got the investigation done. Or how we to account of the general coldness and hereditary of the literature of Pope's time, or as the strong, often stormy passion which swept into poetry with the development of what we call romanticism. Then we have to seek our answers consideration which carry us for beyond all question of literary taste and critical theories. The historian of literature may indeed object that with all these remoter problems have a student's simply of literature we has nearly nothing to do, but this business is entirely with books as he finds them and with such forces as life. So what happened, like as I have put it, Hedson has says that within the field of literary activity we need our quarrel. We need not quarrel with those who take up such a position. Rather, we may gladly allow them to do their own work in their own way, while we ourselves profit to the fullest extent of the result. At the same time, we have to insist that the domain of literature cannot permanently be thus isolated, and really to understand literature we have continuously to get out of literature into the life by which it fed, as behind every book there is a written lies the personality of the man who wrote it, and as behind every national literature lies the character of the race which produced it, so behind the literature of any period in the combined forces, personal and impersonal, but which made the life of that period as a whole what it was. So literature is only one of the many channels in which the energy of an age discharge itself. So it is political, whether it's political movement, it's religious movement, philosophical speculation, and we have the same energy overflow into other form of expression. So literature is only a form of expression in which the political point of view may express, in which the religious thoughts may express, in which the any channel of movement like there we have various movements in literature. So it is one of the way to express the thought or the feelings of the nation or of the society. So the study of English literature, for example, will thus take us into the wild field of English history, by which we mean the history of English politics and society, many custom, culture and learning, and philosophy and religion. However, diversity is the characteristic which make up the sum total of life of an epoch. Those like the qualities which combine in an individual, and not, as Tense put it, merely juxtaposed, that are interrelated and independently. So we will study Tense formula of literary evolution tomorrow, in which he will express different way of literary evaluation. Let's see what are the merits and demerits of Tense formula of literary evaluation, and how far it goes successful, and how far we will study it. So till then, take care. We will meet tomorrow.